A year ago, on the 30th of November 2022, OpenAI introduced generative AI, heralding the greatest technological leap of our times. ChatGPT, a marvel in machine intelligence, swiftly captivated the world, achieving 100 million monthly users within just 2 months of its launch. Now, big tech swiftly recognized the signs, and Microsoft boldly made its third and largest investment in OpenAI, pledging a staggering $10 billion along with more to dare Google.
They will definitely want to come out and show that they can dance, and I want people to know that we made them dance, and I think that'll be a great day.
Google prepared to embrace AI, countered with a strategic move led by Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai.
With generative AI, we are taking the next step. With a bold and responsible approach, we are reimagining all our core products, including search.
But not everyone was on board. An open data endorsed by Elon Musk and over 30,000 others urged a halt on training AI systems surpassing GPT-4 for a minimum of 6 months, advocating a thorough assessment of risks and challenges. As predicted in the letter, layoffs began and the global workforce stared at the danger of being replaced with AI. Even Hollywood went up in protest. It was clear that governments needed to build guardrails as the technology is powerful to be left in the hands of corporations. Testifying before the Senate, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman agreed.
I think if this technology goes wrong, it can go quite wrong, and we want to be vocal about that. We want to work with the government to prevent that from happening.
And the message resonated, prompting the U.S. Senate to summon big tech leaders to talk policy. Meanwhile, Amazon entered the fray, placing a $4 billion bet on OpenAI competitor Anthropic. In the intensifying AI race, establishing a responsible framework gained prominence at the AI Safety Summit in Britain. The Bletchley Declaration, signed by over 25 countries, including India, the US, EU and China, has marked a pivotal step forward. Now, a year since the launch of ChatGPT, regulatory uncertainty remains, but OpenAI and other frontier AI labs suggest that what we've seen so far is just the tip of the iceberg.
We do all of this because we believe that AI is going to be a technological and societal revolution. As intelligence gets integrated everywhere, we will all have superpowers on demand. We hope that you'll come back next year. What we launched today is going to look very quaint relative to what we're busy creating for you now.
A technological and societal revolution. Well, since its launch last year, ChatGPT-like models have globally transformed the AI landscape. So while India ranks first in AI skill penetration and boasts of a fifth of the world's AI talent as per NASSCOM, the country's seen about $3 billion flow into AI startups in 2022, compared to the US, where a whopping $47 billion have gone into newly formed artificial intelligence companies. Hello and welcome to Young Turks, India's longest-running show on startups and entrepreneurship. I'm Shereen Bhan. To talk to us about how far we've come and what our priorities need to be going forward, we're joined today by Umakant Soni, chairman at AIFoundry and co-founder of AI and Robotics Technology Park. We also have with us Dhrupal Shah, the co-founder of edtech AI startup STEMpedia, and Anuruddh Mishra, the founder of August AI, a platform that gets you personalized answers to your health questions using AI. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us here on the program. Umakant, my first question, where are we today in the AI journey?
So thank you, Shereen, for having me on the show. Very quickly, I've spent almost like last 15 years in the AI space. Built the first AI chatbot company in 2009. There were only 4 guys trying to do that across the globe. I also co-founded the first AI-focused venture fund called Pi Ventures. Co-founded a not-for-profit Art Park AI and Robotics Technology Park together with the Institute of Science. So spent a fair bit of time. And ChatGPT, as you rightly pointed out, it's a seminal moment in human history, because for the first time, we have English as the best programming language for machines. And we are at a cusp of what I call as the intelligence economy. By 2030, we're going to create $15.7 trillion of new economic value with that. So some massive change that we are actually standing on. And it's very important for us to actually understand and unpack it a bit, right? So if I look at 1975, that was the time when we had connected up to 1 billion places with rails, with roads, with flight, with water, and we could sell the excess production of one place to another. And that was the the birth of the industrial economy, or the height of the industrial economy. By 2009, we had done the same with connecting people with internet, emails, social networks. And we were actually having what we call as the knowledge economy, where we dominated. And we had companies like Wipro, Infosys, TCS, and we know what they did with it. Now, ChatGPT signifies this beginning of this, what we call as, the intelligence economy. By 2030, we're going to have like 7.5 billion people connected with 30 billion machines, right? And forming what we call as the, the core of the, the intelligence economy. Now, if we don't transition our lead, which we actually had with the knowledge economy, into this massively emerging intelligence economy, it could be a massive disaster. And, fundamentally, I see we need four critical ingredients for AI success. We need data, we need talent, we need compute, we need capital, right? Companies grown in India, and you might see some of them right now, and supported, invested, close to 17 of them in India. What we have seen is that they're grown in India, they're able to leverage rich data and abundant AI talent to create robust and safe AI. And then they're able to take it to, Southeast Asia, Middle East, Africa. We supported a company called YSR.io, which is, now the largest mental health, chatbot platform in the world, right? And 60-70% of the traffic is now coming from outside India. What we are seeing is a massive deficit is what we call as compute and capital, right? As you rightly pointed out, I mean, till 2022, we had like close to $248 billion invested in US as compared to $7.5 billion in India. So it's I see a clear gap of like 35x, which is very, very difficult, right? So we need to figure out ways to how do we increase the capital behind AI in India. The second big challenge that I see is compute. I mean, just to put, convert GPT into ChatGPT, you needed AI superclusters, right? I mean, the largest GPU cluster in India is like, say, 700, 800 GPUs at the moment. And when we have to talk about exascale AI computers, we're talking about $500 million of investment. And that's where the race is going. So we somehow need to figure out ways to bridge this gap, both in capital as well as in compute. And it is critical that we do that really fast.
So on the two critical challenges of compute and capital that you articulated for us, what is the way forward? What do we need to prioritize in being able to bridge both these very significant gaps? What's the role the government can play? What's the role of the private sector?
So I think there are two things that are very, very critical. One, we need to find, if you were to bridge both these gaps, we need to find credible ways of bringing public and private sector together, right? So whether it is in terms of, maybe we need to create a large, public-private fund of fund just focused on AI, right? And maybe it could be like a $10 billion fund of fund. And maybe, government can say, okay, I'm going to, contribute a small amount, maybe less than $500 million or so. But then the rest money could come from the private sector guys. I mean, there are large pension funds, who are looking to, put money into India. And that fund of fund could then power, multiple, AI-focused venture funds to put money into the AI companies. That could be, one approach that we could actually look at. And maybe government could incentivize, creation of some of these venture funds, because the risk-taking capital has to increase behind AI companies. The second one I see is very critical is what we were talking about, compute. And maybe we need to create, our own sovereign AI cloud. Maybe we need to create these companies. Maybe we need to provide incentives to grow such companies, because today, if I see, there's a massive challenge, in terms of, one, we don't have a sovereign cloud. If I look at China, they have Alibaba, they have, Tencent, they have Huawei, all of them actually created their own, clouds, but we don't have that. And given that, AI or the intelligence economy is going to become, I mean, $15.7 trillion of new economic value is a massive opportunity. If you have to hit like 35 trillion by 2047, a large chunk of that has to come from something which has never been created before. And that's where this intelligence economy figures in. So I think if you have to, make a attempt, and credible attempt at that, right? And we are seeing that today, right? Like if you look at OpenAI and where they're going with it, right? I mean, just one company consuming $13 billion of capital, right? So I think even if we are not able to, get to that number in terms of purchasing power parity, we need to, maybe 10x our numbers in terms of capital, right? So instead of maybe 3 or 7 billion, we need to go to at least 70 billion.
But Dhrupal, let me come to you now, because you started your AI journey with your company, STEMpedia, in 2015. To address what we just heard there from Umakant, to start with, the aspiration that you have in light of the experience, as well as the opportunities that you see, and how do you believe that we need to address some of the gaps that we just spoke of?
The transition is happening at a so fast pace, right from the exams and everything being kind of tried to be solved by AI or ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Now what we see is we need to prepare the students how to compete and how to do the work in the upcoming years, right? What we are talking about as the intelligent economy. So in that, what the most important thing will be how the students learns about the computational thinking, how they can do things by their own hands, what we call as experiential learning. So we are creating tools and technologies for students and teachers, how they can train the students on the upcoming technologies of the future, like AI, robotics, and much more on that. We are preparing the tools. Our tool called as PictoBlocks, which is an AI and robotics education platform, is nowadays used by more than 180,000 students across the world. And out of that, only 35% is from India. And we see that more than 6,000 schools are now already using our platform. So that's what is the reach of AI nowadays. And students and teachers are able to understand that, because they also think, including the governments, what we are talking, or including teachers or parents, they see that the use of AI in this will become so prominent in our life that it will be kind of the core essential technology for us.
What is the revenue that you're targeting, and are you profitable already?
Okay, so yeah, our startup journey has been very different than what we see in a lot of startups being covered on the media. So we started from pretty kind of as doing a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo in 2017. It was the first university student-led project which got global funding, as in pre-orders of 45K USD. And we delivered more than products in more than 30 countries before our graduations. So that was the starting point. And today we have revenues of more than 2 million last year, last FY23 we closed, and with a profitability of more than 1 crore. This year, we are now looking to close more than 6 million revenue with a profitability. That's what is the target. At the same time, we create and we focus a lot on technology creation, and we are already collaborating with some of the leading IITs in the country and foreign universities like Malta University and in Finland, because they are kind of one of the pioneers in what we call as an experiential learning. And the focus is also our upcoming focus is on training the teachers and building a huge fleet of educators to impart the skills in the schools.